Boston Celtics really have turned their season around, but I am a firm believer that they are one piece away in their puzzle from being a championship contender. Okay? The Celtics offense has improved lately, but it still stands out as the team's weakest link after about a month into the regular season, about 20%, whatever you want to call it. I want to hear these thoughts down below. Do you guys agree with me that the Celtics offense is their weakest link and that they are one piece, aka one player away from fixing that puzzle? So look, last year the Celtics were good in transition. It depends where you go for stats. I think Cleaning the Glass had them at 10th in transition, while Synergy Sports had them in second. Either way, it's either great or pretty good at scoring in transition. And that's plummeted. And it makes no sense to me because Emi Udoka, tell me if I said that correctly, Emi Udoka, from day one stressed that they wanted to play faster with a lot more pace. And for some reason that hasn't come to fruition. And I don't want to blame these offensive problems on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but you see situations where Marcus Smart will get the ball swung to him and he'll stop to look. And that stop, that kind of hesitation, instead of the automatic pass to the next guy, just lets the defense catch up in the rotation. And it's small things like that that has kept this team from being a really good offensive team. And the transition thing is an issue with all guys. They're not looking to run. They're not looking to make it up the court. They're not looking to get out and push the pace and start the fast break. And it's not just a Tatum thing. Tatum has been good. I mean, he had a 30-point game a bunch of times. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Tatum's fine. But the glaring problem is it just feels like there's a lackluster effort on the offensive side. And when Jason Tatum's scoring, people are thinking, oh, the offense is fine. No, when Jason Tatum's going off, he's just kind of covering up the holes, okay? Like, this offense does have holes like Swiss cheese, okay? And the fact that they're reliant on Jason Tatum makes them even more dependent. And hopefully when Brown comes back, like, this can help. But it's just like if Brown and Tatum aren't going off, this team's offense is going to struggle. And is this something that they can change? Like, is there something on this roster that they can equip for a change, maybe through a trade, or really just giving a player more minutes and giving another player less minutes? Because I don't really know why, because I don't know what I was trying to say right there, why they haven't staggered Smart and Tatum more together and run the offense through Marcus Smart. Because I think Dennis Schroeder isn't a natural point guard, okay? He's out there for his own offense. He's got that Jordan Clarkson mentality, just go out, green light, score. He's good at it, but he just, like, he does his own thing. While you get a lot more structure when Smart has the ball in his hand, and he's good at going through the sets and creating for other people. And they have multiple playmakers on this team, so I wonder what Udoka is going to do with the rotations and how to fix this stagnation, okay? And I do feel like Smart is a playmaker, and he's a good playmaker. And I think, if you think about it, right now he has the most assists on the team right now for the second year running, even without Tatum. I think this offense is pretty good with him on the floor. And I just feel like Marcus Smart needs to be out there with Tatum. And I think Marcus Smart's best role is a secondary playmaker. He shouldn't be the primary playmaker, but if they're not going to go out and trade for someone, they should try to make him the primary playmaker or use him with Peyton Pritchard and maybe Al Horford and have 3 secondary playmakers, because I know Al Horford's a good passer. And they don't have a guy that just keeps the offense flowing right now. And they haven't had that guy since Gordon Hayward. And that's the thing that Gordon Hayward was underrated about and overlooked. He just kept the offense flowing, okay? His numbers weren't popping off the stat sheet, and he might not have the best assist numbers, best scoring numbers, whatever, but everything that you see that they're struggling, the quick pass, the sense, the quick decisions, Gordon Hayward did that. And, Al Horford, when he plays in the high post and you can run stuff through him, just not in the elbow game. So you could run Princeton stats with him at the high post. He's been a good enough passer to do that, and his shot, if the team's back off him, he can just hit it from the free throw, and at the top of the key, he can do the same thing. And I would also try to stop playing Josh Richardson and Marcus Smart. That's too much inefficient shooting right there. Have one of them come off the bench and have one of them start with the starters. I think Aaron Nesmith and Smart would be a little bit better because Nesmith has shown the ability for some catch and shoot opportunities. And even though Richardson's going to bring equal defense with Smart, he's not going to bring much shooting. And you really hoping that Nesmith is your best shooter on this team right now, even though he has struggled pretty bad at points. So I think it's tweaking the rotations and getting the good sets, okay? I would try to start putting some sets where you have the ball in different guys' hands and force Tatum and force Brown to move off ball, screen, cut, and all do that, because teams are just predicting, oh, they're just going to give the ball to Jaylen Brown. They're just going to give it to Jason Tatum, okay? And this is a smart team, because if you do that, have them moving off motion, okay, it'll open things up for everybody else. It'll open up for them too as well. It'll give them backdoor cuts or their teammates backdoor cuts. This is a smart team. This is smart players on this team. And they're going to know how to look at the defense, overplay them, cut the backdoor to guys like Horford, Smart, you know what I mean, Jaylen Brown. And Smart and Pritchard can facilitate that. And even Horford can facilitate that. So, look, before this year, they've always had a high-usage point guard, albeit being Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie Irving, or even, you know, Kemba Walker. So, do you think part of the struggle is due to the fact that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are really, they need a third guy there to make them coexist, and Marcus Smart isn't there? Because I just read, like, the same problems happens with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, okay? Because I feel like in the sense is that Marcus Smart is a shooting guard, Jaylen Brown's a small forward, Jason Tatum's a power forward, Al Horford's a center. They need a true point guard right there, a high usage guy who can just facilitate and pass first, defense second, you know? And when you look at it, this is a team that needs a connector. They don't have Alonzo Ball, and like Alonzo Ball, you might be looking like Chicago's making it work with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan right now, which is similar to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, where they kind of like step on each other's toes. But the way the Chicago's doing it, it works because they're finding guys who are connectors. You know, that like middle link in Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, and those guys make it easier to get those guys going and get themselves going. And somebody that they could get is Ricky Rubio, and he's done a great job of that in Cleveland with Lauri Markkanen, Jared Allen, Dean Wade, Evan Mobley, Sexton, Darius Garland, and you can go calling Sexton, but Sexton's out. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to trade him because he's having so much effect, but imagine if they had that guy, Ricky Rubio would be perfect for this team. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of these type of high-usage guys in the NBA. I mean, you could try to make a trade for Jared Butler, but he's young. Jalen Bronson, maybe. I think that connecting, you know, an actual high-usage point guard is the important piece that they're missing. Because right now, everybody they have, for the most part, can score for the Celtics or a one-on-one, you know what I mean, an ISO guy. And they never get easy looks, whether in transition or even half court. Everything's hard for them. And some nights, everything's going in and they look great, and you're like, the Celtics are awesome. And then they have nights where they can't even hit a shot. They can't even hit the side of the barn. I want to hear your thoughts down below.